Hello and welcome to Sport for Business. I'm joined this morning by Sportsfile photographer Ramsey Cardy. You'll be familiar, I'm sure, with the work that he created, which went live over the weekend under the hashtag To the New Generation. It was a powerful project, bringing different athletes, all of different races, colours, and all part of the human race to life in a series of photographs. You're very welcome, Ramsey. Congratulations on the piece of work. Tell us a little bit about where the inspiration came from.
Well, I suppose I'd seen the recent protests that were taking place in America, and then following on to worldwide. So I've been kind of having a look at those and thought, how can I get an Irish angle onto this? And being a sports photographer, and obviously there's very little sport actually taking place at the moment. I had quite a bit of time on my hands. So I decided to look into what I could actually do and come up with some ideas to get Irish athletes involved and hopefully give them a little bit of a voice as well as to what their experiences are.
Okay.
And that's where it all came about.
Great. And you've been working across all sports and doing great work. But you've been particularly tied to Leinster Rugby for the last year and a half. Was it through Adam and Linda? Were they the first two that you kind of reached out to see whether this was an idea that might fly?
Yeah, pretty much. So once I come up with the idea of what I was going to do, I went to Marcus and Connor in Leinster Rugby, who I'd worked with quite a bit. That'd be the communication side of things in Leinster. So I went to them just to get a bit of feedback on them and how what they might think of the project and if it was something that might be received in the right way. So they came back initially and said, yeah, great project, but we'll check with Adam and see what his side of things are, just to see what he thinks. So they went to him, and once he said, yep, definitely a great idea, and he said he'd really like to be involved. So once I had him on board, I thought this is something worth pursuing, and that was once I had Adam and Linda on board, the rest all came in place quite easily.
Okay, how did you reach out to the rest of the athletes, because they are from a very diverse bunch of sports as well? You've got athletics, you've got football, you've got Gaelic games.
Yeah, I made a list of who I would like to get on board. So that was the first thing, and then through some contacts we would have. So I'd have some of them are kind of people that the media representation from the governing body, and some were just through social media. I contacted them, and then there was a few people I already had contacts for. So it was kind of a variety of ways I came about it. But the media people from the governing bodies were quite good. They were very supportive as well, which was great. It made the project a lot easier.
Excellent. And how long did it take you to create all of the shots? Because it looks as though you were traveling up and down the country a little bit as well to get it. But you're media, so you're entitled to do that.
Yeah. It was. It probably took about a week. I sat on it for a few days thinking about it, and then so it probably took a week from my first idea to shooting the first person, and from the first to the last, getting the 10 of them. They were over 5 days. So there was a bit of driving. Some of them are Dublin based, which definitely helped. But there was trips to kind of Dundalk and down to Dingle and Kerry to get friends. So there was a bit of driving, but it was good. The athletes were very supportive of it, so it made it a lot easier, all the driving.
Okay, and the words on the cards that they're all holding up, is that something that you created yourself, or was that in consultation with the athletes as to what they would like to say?
No, that was all done by the athletes. That was something I thought of at the very start, that it had to be their words, and that I don't know what their experiences are in life. So there's no point in me writing something for them and having them hold it. So I wanted it to be written by them. So they would send me the message. Once I had them on board, usually within a day, they would send me what the words they wanted, and I had someone in our office actually write them on for me, just so they all look kind of uniform. We did the writing, but all the words are all done by them.
Great. And it came out very consistently over the weekend that on social media, the sporting bodies, the athletes themselves, it got a huge amount of traction.
Yeah.
Was that something that took you a little bit by surprise, or did you have absolute confidence that this was right thing at the right time?
At the start, I definitely wasn't sure. When I started the project, I wasn't sure how it'd be received, and that was why I checked around a little bit to get a bit of feedback. But once the athletes were on board, I thought it would go on quite well at that point. But yeah, it was very pleasing. Obviously, once it was actually out there, that people did receive it quite well and got on board with it. And kind of since then, I've had a lot of athletes actually want to get on board with doing something else. So I don't know what will happen next, but yeah, it's been really well received.
Okay, so you can be the social good photographer of choice across the Irish sporting community, which is not a bad place to be. Where would you like to see it going from here now? Is it something that is of the moment and it lives right now and then it goes into the history books, or is it something that you think could form part of a broader campaign?
I'm still trying to decide that. Over the last few days, obviously athletes have been getting in touch. So I'm still trying to decide if it goes any further or if we leave it here, or maybe a sponsor might even pick it up and take it somewhere. I don't know exactly. There's been lots of talk of different campaigns and stuff. So I'm still trying to figure out. I'll maybe leave it a few weeks to see where it actually goes from here.
Okay, well, there's plenty of people have noticed it. Plenty of people have been commenting and talking about it. So maybe from that collective wisdom, something else can come from it as well. But it needed the inspiration from the get-go to actually get it underway. That was down to you. Congratulations, Ramsey Cardy, and thanks very much for joining us.
Great. Thanks very much for having me on.